Here we go. Tesla's Q1 earnings report is literally coming out in 3 days, or maybe less than 3 days if you guys are watching this the next day, which will be a Tuesday, or even on the Monday, which will be the next day. By the way, guys, I am going live on the 23rd when earnings report comes out, and for earnings call, it's going to be a 4-hour live session. It's going to be flipping awesome. So the link is here. So make sure you guys hit notification when I do go live, because we're going to have a fun time. We're going to have an awesome time, but we all know that Q1 is going to be a worse quarter than Q4, and everybody thought Q4 was going to be the worst quarter. Well, Q1 is going to be the worst quarter because we had deliveries below 400,000, below all estimates, even revised estimates. So no doubt that Q1 earnings, their EPS, their net income, it's not going to be good. But again, it's one quarter out of so many years of quarters that we're going to be going through, and I don't think anybody's going to really remember 2023, 2024 quarters, and 2028, 2029, 2030. And okay, let's not talk that far. Let's come back to Q1. I do think there may be one positive thing that may happen, but I'll share my thoughts at the end of the video, as I usually do. So let's go down and see what the stock price could be. And more importantly, my final estimate of what the EPS is and what the net income revenue will be. And this is my final. And if you guys are following me on X, I do get everyone's EPS estimate and I put it in one post. It gets very interesting, and we see who's right, who's wrong. So let's get down to it. Smash that like button if you guys haven't already, and subscribe, man. Let's go. So here's my Tesla stock price prediction chart on a quarterly basis. If you guys want access to this, play around with your own numbers to see what works, what doesn't, you guys can check out the Patreon link over here, and you guys can have access to this, checking it out, playing around with the numbers and see what you guys want. And it's all automated. You just got to put the delivery numbers in, and everything else is going to fall into place just as long as you have everything else entered, which I'm going to go over it right now. So Q1, here are the numbers that I put before I put the delivery numbers in, because it's going to give us everything. Here's what I'm going in with. Average selling price, 43,000 per each vehicle. Regulatory credits, 475 million. I did bring this down from 500 million, although I do still think this could be well north of 500 million. We'll play around with that number later. Services, about $2.25 billion in revenue and only $90 million in profits, just around a 4% profit. I mean, they don't make much profit off the services. Leasing, obviously that gets dropped down as well because they sold less vehicles. Vehicle gross profits percentage of 15.5%, and I think this is the lowest ever. In Q4, it was as low as 15.7. I put here 15.5 because yes, the COGS per each vehicle did go down, and they didn't cut that much prices in Q1, but they didn't benefit from economy of scale, and economy of scale really benefits Tesla. The more cars that they can produce, and they didn't produce as much thanks to the lunar holidays in China, thanks to the shutdowns with the erosion and the Red Sea for Giga Berlin, and the slowdown going on in Fremont with the new hardware for the S and X's, as well as the new Model Fresh 3, which now they're starting to get a ramping again, but we're in Q2 now, not in Q1. So 15.5%. This could actually go lower. Right? But we'll find out on Tuesday when we go live. But what's really interesting here is the energy, almost $1.7 billion in revenue and a profit of 400 million. Now, this could be more. I think this could be as high as 400 or 420. Not pun intended at all. But I am lowballing this because I like to be conservative. But 1.6 or almost 1.7 billion in energy is a record for Tesla. And I got this number because in the Q1 delivery and production report, they did about over 4 megawatts of energy storage. And after doing some math here and there, I got to 1.664 billion in terms of revenue. And I gave it a 23% gross profit, and that gave us just below $400 million. This could be more, but hey, whatever it is, it's going to be a record quarter for Tesla when it comes to energy, which is a sheesh moment. Operating cost, about $2.4 billion. Taxes, I did increase it because now they said in Q4 earnings, they said that our taxes are going to be the same as the S&P 500s, which is around the 15% mark. And that's around $200 million, not billion, $200 million. We have the interest here of 300 million. Now this could be less. I don't know what they're doing with their money, but this could be less unless they have it in a high interest rate savings account, which I mean, easily they can do more than that actually, but I don't know. We'll see what happens in Q1. I put here 300. For stock-based compensation, I brought that down to 475 compared to what it was to 500. Shares outstanding, a little bit over 3.5 billion. Now let's get down to see what the numbers are going to be, the revenue, the profits, the operating margin, the total GAAP gross margin, the EPS, and then what the stock price could potentially be. So before we get into this, I think the non-GAAP EPS, it's between 51 cents and 52 cents. So whichever we get, whether it's 51 cents or 52 cents, we're just going to say it's met. All right, so let's go. 386,810 vehicles, and bam, look at all that numbers come in. So let's go. Total vehicle revenues of $16.6 billion, which is literally like the lowest since like 2022's numbers. So that's not good. And then we have the total gross profits of a little bit over 3.6 billion. Total GAAP gross margin of 17.1%, down from 17.6% in Q4. And the total GAAP gross margin tells you if the company is on a projection of growth or decline. And we all hoped that Q1 wouldn't be like this, but it is. And this could be bad, but I do think it's expected. I do think it's already baked into the stock. Total Q1 revenue is a little over $21.3 billion. Income from operations, $1.25 billion. Operating margin of 5.8%. My goodness, 5.8%. That's just crazy. The lowest we've had was 7.6%. Seeing 5.8% is just going to bring out all the bears and all the negative sentiment to a whole new level. Even though this quarter doesn't really matter. I don't think quarter of 2026, quarter one, is even going to be comparable to 2024 Q1 or even Q1 of 2023. But 5.8% in the short term, near term, that's an ouch. 1.35 billion in net income gap. I mean, at least they're making a net income, which is insane. And non-GAAP of 1.8 billion. EPS non-GAAP of 52 cents, which is looks like it's a met. We met expectations. With all this, we met expectations. Still, this is probably going to be one of the worst quarters ever in Tesla's profitability history. Let's face it. Let's not sugarcoat it. Q1 of 2024 is going to be the worst history of Tesla's profitability. But here's the thing though. If they do sell more credits, let's say up to 500, and it's a beat, 53 cents. But that's all based on credit, if that happens or not. Maybe operating costs will be less. That's also a beat. So we'll see what exactly happens, but I do stand firm at 52 cents. That's my final EPS of that. Now, they could actually sell Bitcoin because they do have almost 10,000 Bitcoins. They probably, if they sold 1,000 or 2,000, that could actually help, the balance sheet, the income statement, the cash flow. That can really help everything. And that could probably bring the EPS up to 60 cents. So they can pull this rabbit out of the hat if they really want to, but we'll find out on Tuesday when we're both going live. Now, what could the stock price be, guys? This is something that everybody wants to know. And before we get into that, you guys should take note that the earnings, it may bring down the stock down maybe 2-3%, but it's the earnings call that brings it down 10%. And this earnings call is actually a really important one because Elon has to say some of the things that he kind of needs to say. With all the rumors going on with the compact car being on the back burner or being postponed or being entirely canceled, he has to say something about this. If he outright denies it, then we can probably see another 10% going down. On top of that, and I don't think he's going to deny it in a way, I think he's going to say the right things because, we got to vote for his compensation package literally a week or so from now or something. So I don't think he is going to go like, okay, guys, I can't say this because of that. What I can say and what I think he will be able to say is nothing is canceled. Everything is on track. Nothing's on the back burner. We're still planning for second half of 2025 for mass production for the next generation vehicle. If he says these words, the stock will actually go up like 5 to 10% because the reason why they're going down this fast is because a lot of these analysts are saying, oh, so Model 2 is canceled. We're going to remove it from our valuation. Obviously, we don't have robotaxi and anything else there. It's just the auto business because that's just a car company. So we're going to remove it from here and just, go based on whatever they have now. And obviously that brings down the EPS massively. And that's why you have Deutsche Bank bringing the stock down to 123 from 189 and having an EPS of $2.40 in 2027. Bruh. You guys can check the video right here, by the way, but that's just insane. So I do think Elon's going to say the right things in his earnings call. At least I hope. We will find out when we both go live. So anyways, let's get down to the stock price with the PE. Right now, the stock price is around 146, 147. After we get this earnings, because we do have an EPS fiscal of $4.05, that would make an EPS, that would mean we would have to have a PE of around 36 to have the same exact stock price of what it is right now after the earnings. Now, here's the thing. If this is met and Elon says the right things, I can see a bounce back up, maybe around a 40 PE, maximum 45, and I don't see it going more than that because things are still uncertain with Q2 and Q3. But this is the max I can see it going around $182, at least from April 23rd to July 20th. And when the vote does get passed and approved, then I can probably see it going as high as 50, because now we know that Elon is involved in the company and is not going to leave, and there's less uncertainty and stuff like that. I could see a bounce back up here, but $182 per share, 45 PE is the max I could see it at the moment, regardless of this voting stuff, right? However, though, if he says the wrong things and EPS comes to a miss, then I could probably see a PE going as low as 30, $121 per share, 388. And if Tesla's vote gets declined, then I can probably see a PE of 25, maybe going as low as 20, around the $81, or maybe 101. It's just crazy. I mean, Tesla going below 100 is a possibility, guys. It's just, it's crazy for me to even say that. But with all this uncertainty, with all this FUD, anything's possible at this time. Again, this all rests on Elon's shoulder on what he's going to say in earnings call in 3 days' time. He can make the stock and break the stock in the near term, short term. So it all depends on that. It all depends what Elon has to say in earnings call. And we shall find out in 3 days' time. What I'm thinking here, I'm just going to keep it at around a 35p, what it is right now, because at this point of time, both scenarios could happen. Elon could have a bad earnings call, stock can drop as low as 100, or he has a good earnings call and stock can go as around 150, 160, potentially 180 with a good earnings report. Now, here's a big positive that I think that could actually happen to make this, the earnings a bit better, so we can damper the bad earnings call if we do have a bad earning call, which, with the last 4 or 5 quarters, it's been a pretty bad earnings call. Well, not every single one of them. There was some juicy stuff here and there, but in the grand scheme of things, the stock fell right after the earnings call. But the big positive here that Tesla could do to make the EPS even better is sell Bitcoin. As I mentioned earlier, Tesla has around 10,000 Bitcoins. And so if they sell 1,000 or 2,000, this can really bring the EPS even higher. So even if we do have a bad earnings call, we do have an EPS that's better than expected. And that could help out damper the downside if there is a bad earnings call. Again, this all goes back to what Elon has to say on Tuesday in earnings call. And I'm going to be, here I'm in Kuwait, I'm going to be up to like 1 or 2 in the morning. And I think there'll be some other people joining me. And so let's see what he has to say. And I really hope's not a strategy. We all know that, but I really hope he says the right things. I really hope he really does say the right things. Next week is going to be a very big week for Elon because, again, we have the compensation vote coming. And I know it's going to be an overwhelming yes, but if it's a no, then fundamentals are going to change for Tesla. That's all I'm going to say. I really hope things don't get really bad. And you guys may have noticed that I don't have Q2, Q3, and Q4. I usually do have them and I do estimate, but the uncertainty is really high right now. And in Q2, this time I did not put it there because, well, Q2 is looking a little bit shaky. I just need more information before I can do it. So we'll see what happens when April is done. We can get China numbers and then we can go forward with the Fremont, Texas, and Berlin as we usually do on this channel. So guys, Q1 is going to be insane. It's going to be crazy. And I'm going to be going live. So if you guys want to follow me, I don't know if the video is going to show here or not. Make sure you guys click on this video and notify it, or a car in the corner, either one. If the live video is not showing here, well, then there's another video here you guys can check out that's really enjoyable. Guys, get some merch. I bought the Dev t-shirt because, again, in 2030, all these massive FUDs and noise, it's not going to matter. And we're going to be saying, I bought the dip in 2024. Subscribe and I shall see you guys in the next video, because I will have a next video and then it'll be the live. See ya.